And we're back with some Dagon. And it is free. This is a free game. And they were like, you can experience it in about 30 minutes. And I was like, I'm here for it. Let me just check options. Sure, I'm feeling spicy. Trivia? Oh. The Little Glass Bottle DLC. There's a DLC? I might have to come back to this. What does the DLC entail? Mind you, all profits are being donated to the people being affected by the war in Ukraine. Get a glimpse into Lovecraftian's mind at 7 years old. Embark on an adventure during your coffee break. The game can be completed in less than 10 minutes. Learn interesting facts about the author's own childhood. Experience the short story. Ebook, audiobook versions of this story. Oh. Okay, so that's what the DLC is. That's cute. It's cute. Alright, let's just go. Interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work focused on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices, action sequences, or inventory management here, and movement is limited to progressing through locations along with the plot. Ah, a calm, relaxing game. Thank you.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
During the game, you will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey. Others reveal interesting facts about the original short story, its historical background, and the author. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the Elder sign. Okay, y'all help me look for the branch. Okay. Case is peculiar. I write such things exactly as easily and as rapidly as I would utter the same topics in conversation. Indeed, epistolary? Epistolary. Oh, English. Expression is with me largely replacing conversation as my condition of nervous prostration becomes more and more acute. I cannot bear to talk much now and am becoming as silent as the spectator himself. My loquacity extends itself on paper. H.P. Lovecraft or Reinhard Kleiner. Throughout his life, Lovecraft penned around 100,000 letters to his friends and fans, out of which about 10% survive to this day. But his tendency to endless correspondence was a relatively late growth. In youth, I scarcely did any letter writing. Thanking anybody for a present was so much of an ordeal that I would rather have written a 250-line pastoral or a 20-page treatise on the rings of Saturn. Lovecraft would often skip meals to afford postage. Collections of his correspondence have been published in various books, and selected letters can be found online. Some readers consider them his most important legacy. Okay. You can read the discovered trivia immediately, or go to them later in the main menu. Turn off displaying trivia if you find that the feature distracts you from the story. This can be changed anytime. No, show me the trivia. I'm curious. I like the wall in the art.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below. Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate. When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
Oh. Severe pain during the American Civil War and World War I. It was also sold without restrictions until 1914. After the invention of the hypodermic needle, Friedrich Turner first isolated the substance, originally named it morphium, after Morpheus, the Greek god associated with dreams. And I just finished watching The Sandman too. Ooh! At the time when Dagon was published, morphine abuse, known as soldier's disease, already posed a big problem in the United States. Look at that. We're learning history together. I like this.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
Okay, I just want to make sure there was a pause. Stream Raiders time. Excuse me. We're gonna learn together. Chicken. Ooh, look at that fire. You got some money. Congrats. I don't think I have any quests I can actively do. No, it's just winning and killing. You know, the normal Stream Raiders quests. We will summon the ghosty boy. Alright. Back we go. There are no secrets here. Aha! Lovecraft and the Great War. Dagon was written around a month after the United States entered World War I. Lovecraft was actively interested in its course. He composed many poems in which he gave encouragement to soldiers and commented on the events unfolding in Europe. He tried to enlist in the army, which he mentions in one of the letters to Reinhard Kleiner. Some time ago, impressed by my entire uselessness in the world, I resolved to attempt enlistment despite my almost invalid condition. I argued that if I chose the regiment soon to depart for France, my sheer nervous force, which is not inconsiderable, might sustain me till a bullet or a piece of shrapnel could move conclusively and effectively dispose of me. Winning and killing, the NinaMeep story. Adobo! But even though he passed the physical exam, his mother prevented him from going to the war. She has threatened to go to any lengths, legal or otherwise, if I did not reveal all the ills which unfit me for the army. I am Providence, the life and times of H.P. Lovecraft's. Damn, son. She said, not today.
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation. So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
The Huns? The Huns were Central Asian nomads who established a dominion in Europe and invaded the Roman Empire in the 5th century AD. Heck yeah, cat! Oh my god, 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 wait. Happy birthday, cat! Happy birthday! I know it was yesterday, but still, happy birthday! I made sure I was like, I'm gonna have it ready, so if Cat shows up for whatever reason, we can... Happy birthday. No, you're amazing, Cat. You're amazing. I was like, ah! Birthday toots. I was gonna say, like, I have other voices, like...
I have this guy, who is totally not a triangle from a kid's show. But, you know. Birthday totes!
Alright, let's everyone give Cat a big old birthday toot. Beautiful. Beautiful. I hope your birthday was as amazing as you. We're doing Dagon. It's a HP Lovecraft game that's free and can be done in about 30 minutes, it says. Like, yay. I was gonna say, how are you doing, but you're amazing. British used the word Hun as a synonym for Germans in order to emphasize their brutality. However, the term originated when the German Emperor Wilhelm II gave a speech to his troops on the 27th before they embarked to China. Should you ever encounter the enemy, he will be defeated. No quarter will be given. Prisoners will not be taken. Whoever falls into your hands is forfeited. Oh, that's a line. Just as 1,000 years ago, the Huns under their king Attila made a name for themselves, one that even today makes them seem mighty in history and legend, may the name German be affirmed by you in such a way in China that no Chinese will ever again dare to look at a German. I don't know if that's racist. The refusal to take prisoners was a clear breach of the laws and customs of war adopted during the first Hague Convention of 1899. Did you mean Gravity Falls? Yes, I did. I did. I don't like that, Germany. No.
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
Nope. Where's my trivia? Trivia? No trivia? Hold on, I gotta zoom in. No trivia, this place.
When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings.
Oh, but it's so pretty. This can also be played in VR if you do have.
Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator.
Hold on. Are these stars accurate? Where's Orion? Where's my guy? I don't know if these stars are accurate.
Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
Right, I was like, I don't have the room for it, so I was like, until I get into my new place where there is sufficient space and a better setup where you can, like, be immersed with me, but also have the option to be like, what does Nina look like in the real world? But until then, we do this. No more riddles? No more trivia? I really liked it. It was kind of cool learning stuff. Okay.
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
I'm trying to float with the boat. Okay, continue story. Oh, secrets. The Return to Short Stories. Dagon was written in July 1917 and first published in 1990 in The Vagrant, an amateur magazine focused on the supernatural. The story is the first of his stories that introduce an element from the Cthulhu mythos, Dagon itself. A pagan cult worshipping Dagon later appears in The Shadow over Innsmouth, one of Lovecraft's most popular works. 1917 is also the year when he wrote The Tomb, a story about Jervis Dudley, a daydreamer who discovers a mysterious monolism in the woods by his house and becomes obsessed with it. These two works marked Lovecraft's return to short story writing after he burned most of his attempts at the genre 9 years prior and decided to concentrate on poetry. Lovecraft stated that it was his friend, William Paul Cook, a literary publisher and critic, who convinced him to start writing weird fiction again. Actual peripheral vision would be terrifying. Oh, yeah, I agree, Kat. Comfy place to sit because it feels like you can actually walk through the environment. Oh, that's what I'm saying. I do have a VR headset, and like I've played a bunch of VR games, normal games. I tried The Forest. No, because I was screaming, and you know you're like this with your headset, and I'm like screaming and trying to attack the monster. And I think I've told this story, but Cass thought I was in danger because this was like her first time seeing me in a headset. So she just sees me screaming and doing this. So she comes over and tries to comfort me, and you know, you can't see what's around you, so I might have gave her a little bonk on the head by accident. VR games. Tony, no, like I will do like calm, friendly VR games, but until we get a bigger space where I'm not gonna hit this bookcase or my giant L desk, we will do calm, simple games in VR. Y'all crazy if you think we're gonna do horror in this setting. We're just gonna be punching stuff.
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue. The change happened whilst I slept. Its details I shall never know. For my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
Where am I? Hold on. Is there any... Okay. Get Nina a larger place. Tony! No. You know how expensive that stuff is? I'm not seeing any clues to trivia. Is this a crab? Because I see legs, but I see tentacles. And then I don't know what's behind my boat. And that's a big old sand dollar over there. Alright, let's go!
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see.
Gross.
And in which my boat lay grounded some distance away. Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished.
Exactly, Streamer House. Which I still have no idea if and when we're going back to the office. So, like, as soon as they tell me, they're like, yes, we're going back to the office. I'll be like, okay, I'll find a house near work. But if they're like, no, we're never going back, I'll be like, I can live anywhere.
For there was in the air and in the rotting soil a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core.
Nina Lagoo? Nina Lagoo? I don't know, Meep House.
The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish and of other less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain.
I like that. Oh, there's more! Oh, it's an upside-down octopus.
Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear.
I wonder why octopus? Like, what happened in his life where he was like, octopus is absolutely terrifying? Streamer House or Streamer Island? Just buy some island in Hawaii or the Caribbean. 1, expensive. 2, internet. If I buy an island, I would then have to build a cable from the mainland to the island for my internet.
The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
Oh, hey, buddy. I didn't even see you there. Oh, you're upside down. Can I flip you? Secrets. The Origins of Dagon. Dagon seems to be inspired by Fishhead, a short novel by Irving S. Cobb about unnatural affinities between a hybrid idiot and the strange fish of an isolated lake. Supernatural horror and literature, H.P. Lovecraft. And Lovecraft's dream about a strange island emerging from the ocean and him crawling in the ooze that covered its substance. I dream that whole hideous crawl and can yet feel the ooze sucking me down. In defense of Dagon, H.P. Lovecraft. Buy not this internet already. This is some good solid notes. I have hated fish and feared the sea and everything connected with it since I was 2 years old. But I cannot recall what earlier experience gave me such a profound and lasting aversion to the sea and seafood. Look at that! Asking shall receive. I was like, man, why is he afraid of the ocean? He's like, I don't know, but it's just been that way since I was 2. I'm gonna say an octopus grabbed you off the pier and you drowned. That's what I'm gonna go with. Any more trivia? No, let's go.
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position. Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths. So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might. Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
Alright, where are your secrets? Ohio, Malo, Flores, Malta. That continues. Are there any more secrets? Oh, secrets. Volcanic eruptions sometimes result in the creation of islands. Yeah, Guam. Most of them are transient and erode after some time, but some prove permanent. The floating pumice, porous rock created when superheated pressured rocks is ejected from a volcano, can move across long distances and transport barnacles and macroalgae that cling to it. In 2001, rafts of pumice created during the eruption of a volcano near Tonga, Polynesia, eventually reached Australia. 2001. Oh! The day Guam became dark. I wouldn't say dark, but like for a day or two, it was dim on the island because we were like, it's not cloudy, there's just a lot of ash in the sky. Because the smoke. I think it was that year. Because I remember a volcano went off and like we were concerned for like a while and then we're like, it's just ash. Just go to school, you'll be inside. That's cool though. Just
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens.
kind of cool if they just like slowly stopped.
As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time.
Hold on, I'm seeing like the tentacle whips. Greenland might be for sale, maybe Iceland. I mean, I imagine someone else is gonna try to buy it before me, tiny little baby streamer. He said brooding. He was really pouting. Oh yeah, he's like pounding this boat. Yeah.
That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
Why is this red? I'm looking for secrets.
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease.
Hold on, is this a squid or is this one long tentacle arm?
The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
Okay, that's continue story. Alright, no secrets. Exactly right, Tony. It's like, it's just ash.
All day I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
No secrets? I'm looking for secrets. Nope, no secrets.
That night I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
The horrors of the ocean. The creator of the Cthulhu mythos and the fictional underwater city of Rayla was convinced that life could not exist at the bottom of the ocean because the water pressure would make it uninhabitable. Uninhabitable? Uninhabitable. Today we know that the darkest depths of the ocean are home to many peculiar organisms, the deepest dwelling fish we have discovered so far. The Mariana snailfish can live about 8,000 meters, more than 26,000 feet, below the ocean's surface, in never-ending darkness and at hellishly crushing pressures, hundreds of times stronger than those found at sea level. Upon glancing at the modern photos of deep-sea creatures such as the anglerfish, the fangtooth, or the viperfish, and their truly Lovecraftian characteristics, it's hard not to find some irony in this. Yeah, dude. Some of those fish be terrified. They're like, I can't see, but rawr.
By the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance. An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill.
I'm concerned that it's not a hill. Like, what if
I
it's
know not why my dreams were so wild that night, but ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more.
No, that's not Orion. That's not Orion.
Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again. And in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day. Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy.
Excuse me.
Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
I just love the language. Secrets. Contrary to popular opinion, Lovecraft was not an ever-frowning, eccentric, grumpy loner. He considered himself to be a person who appreciated humor. Moreover, he would often meet with friends in his apartment or at various cafes in Brooklyn and Manhattan. At times, his social life was so intensive, his work would suffer for months. There was a point when he finally decided he needed to put an end to his daily meetings and loitering in New York cafeterias and resorted to hiding at home and reading with the main room light turned off, pretending he wasn't there whenever a friend knocked on his door. He also had another method of deterring his guests, which involved greeting them in a bathrobe with an unmade bed visible in the background and piles of paper scattered across the floor. That's great. That's great. Okay, good job, buddy.
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me, but I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine.
Oh, like, I can't even see. Oh.
I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night. Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost, and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
See if there's any secrets. Nope.
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent.
Maybe wait till the sun comes up so you know, like, where to go down?
Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
Saying maybe we wait? No? Wanna wait for the sun? No, we don't wanna wait for the sun.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath. gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated. All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me. An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
You got no secrets for me here? Okay. I feel like
It was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself.
I feel like I've missed some stuff, but I'm looking.
But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature. A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express.
Chance that. I want to find all the trivia. I'm interested in history.
For despite its enormous magnitude, and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith, whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely. The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm, and revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures. The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me and unlike anything I had ever seen in books, consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like. Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world, but whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain. It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Trivia. Dagon contains many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later works, such as telling the story through carvings, At the Mountains of Madness, The Nameless City, journals and character notes, The Shadow of the Time, The Haunter of the Dream, islands emerging from the oceans, The Call of Cthulhu, or fictional beings and deities based on real events and mythologies, Migo on the Whispers of Darkness. It's also considered the origin of the popular Cthulhu mythos. Some of Lovecraft's other stories also conclude in a manner similar to Dagon. Well, let's skip the details in order not to spoil the ending. Oh, okay. Way to go, game.
Plainly visible across the intervening water, on account of their enormous size, were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré.
Since this isn't me screaming at the top of my lungs, I just opened my door again.
I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men.
And turn on my fan.
Though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto, or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well. Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer, They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips, glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously enough, they seemed to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself. I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe.
Oh, I think I hit space too many times.
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it.
What? What?
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters. Polyphemus-like and loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith, about which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds. I think I went mad then. Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
Okay, cool. Yay! Alright, Stream Raiders. Oh, an error occurred. Sorry. I was E. Oh, the event's over. That's what happened. Come on, Stream Raiders. I might have to close and reopen it one moment. Well, I say we're almost done with that story. Yeah, I feel like some of the events they run through pretty fast. It's like, yo, my bad, dude. I'm not constantly on it. Sorry. This meat thing we got, pretty bomb.
I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing. I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat. At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods. When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital.
Don't worry, Cat. Me too.
brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean. In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention.
Oh, hi, Cass.
Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Excuse me. Thank you, Tony.
Oh no!
Lovecraft was a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. He started publishing his own journal called The Conservative, which included political and social commentary, poetry, short stories, and literary criticism written by him and other authors. Howard was a skilled wordsmith, but he also took criticisms to heart, which resulted in his decision to step away from writing poetry and concentrate on weird fiction again. For the first time since his teenage years, Dagon, published in 1919, is one of the short stories written during that period. In this example excerpt from The Conservative, the master of horror fiction explains his attitude towards warfare and the idea of world peace. Why any sane human being can believe in the possibility of universal peace is more than the conservative can fathom. Should the entire civilized world agree simultaneously to disarm, one or more nations would undoubtedly retain secret armaments and at the proper time take advantage of their more altruistic and less astute contemporaries in a wild career of conquest against unarmed victims. No country is, or ever can be, above warfare until the basic impulses of the human animal shall have miraculously changed. It's a fair thought. This passage deserves an oh no. It does. Doesn't mean you should. Doesn't mean you should, Tony. Calm down. Get your finger off the button. So I'm okay.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist.
What's an ethnologist?
And amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Fish god. Dagon was the main deity of the Philistines, worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon was common noun for grain. The rulers of Akkad, Mesopotamia, chose him as the patron saint of their war conquest. He also appeared as a judge of the dead in a Assyrian poem and an underworld prison warden in one of the Babylonian texts. He is often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name, as in Hebrew the word dag means fish. In H.P. Lovecraft's works, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with fish traits that reside in the oceans. He's worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon. Different societies and cultures. Oh! Okay, that's kind of cool. So he was like, yo, what's up with this fish guy? Oh. Yeah, I've like seen this. Pictures. How do I move? How do I move forward? Oh, okay, I was like, hello? Is there any other secrets? Nope, that seems to be it. Perfect.
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
Hold on. Why is this book special? Necronomicon. The Marketer? Lovecraft's attempts to find a job in 1925 were influenced by advice he received from friends. Among others, he started freelancing for a marketing magazine, where he would write announcements and commercials. Feel free to judge his copywriting skills for yourself. From an ad for Curtis Woodwork. Curtis Woodwork embraces both the usual structural units and the cleverest contrivances of built-in or permanent furniture such as bookcases, dressers, buffets, and cupboards. Every model is conceived and created with the purest art, ripest scholarship, and mellowest craftsmanship which energetic enterprise can command. And made to conform rigidly to the architecture of each particular type of home, the cost, considering the quality, is amazingly low. and a trademark on the individual pieces prevents any substitution by careless contractors. That is an ad. I did the chants and did the dance. That is a very impressive ad. Oh, see, this has 2 secrets. August Derleth and the Cthulhu Mythos. August Derleth was an American writer and anthologist. He also befriended Lovecraft and published many of his works through his company, Arkham House. Although he greatly contributed to the popularization of the author's works after his death, he is surrounded by numerous controversies. One of his most questionable decisions involved introducing the good versus evil doctrine. Derleth was a devout Catholic, to the Cthulhu Mythos, which contrasted with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to cosmic horror. As a result, the author's works are often misunderstood and misrepresented in today's culture. It is also worth noting that Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a mythology, and the term Cthulhu Mythos was coined by Derleth after the author left the mortal plane. Oh, okay, so Lovecraft dies, and here comes August being like, okay. Sneaky, sneaky. Well, that had 2 hints. Are there any other hints here? Why would you have me... Oh. These days, the word scientist is a widely accepted term, but at the time Dagon was published, it was subject to a wide debate. After the author used it in the story, critics pointed out that man of science was a more appropriate term to employ. He admitted, in defense of Dagon, that if Dagon were to be reprinted, he would indeed use the phrase they suggested. Scientist was coined as an analog to artist to be used when referring to those studying different branches of science. Yet, in the 19th and early 20th century, scientific researchers in Great Britain and the United States were of the opinion that man of science, resembling the term man of letters, was the only proper choice. Among other things, it was gender specific, indicating that science was an endeavor to be pursued by only one sex. Really? The term scientist became more accepted only after World War II, and man of science started fading into obscurity as an old-fashioned synonym. As it should be. Anyone can be a science. Man, woman, anyone. Non-binary, anyone. Scientist. Man of science. Get out of here. Anyone. I'm ready to fight 19th century people now. I'm hyped up. Science is for everyone! Exactly right, Cat. Exactly right. Science is for everyone.
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing.
Nothing.
I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease, and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave.
Question, can you imagine if we were able to just talk like this on the whim?
So now, I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
I'm not gonna lie, I want like Shakespearean text, or like, you know, this type of verbiage and talking, and I want a side-by-side comparison of like modern talk, of just like super shorthand, like, what would this? So I've now to end, written full account. Yeah, it's just like, gonna die. Here's my story. F everybody. I don't know. Oh, secrets? On tobacco and alcohol. Lovecraft hated tobacco. Oh. Even though he used to smoke when he was 12 in order to look and feel like an adult, in his correspondence with friend Reinhard Kleiner, he claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. Go on. He also had a very strong opinion about alcohol, as evidenced by his letter to Zelia Brown, 13th century, 1928. As for the matter of drinking, I have never tasted intoxicating liquor and never intend to, having a strong aesthetic disgust at anything which blunts or corroses the delicate natural equips of the evolved human intellect and imagination. Alright, I like that. Drinking excited my personal repugnance, hence I don't drink. Let the herd do what they will. I am rather in favor of prohibition, the prohibition of any one antisocial force as well as any other. Source: The Spirit of Revision. Lovecraft's Letters to Celia Brown, Reed Bishop, H.P. Lovecraft, Stan Burney, and Andrea Ellman, S.T. Joshi. I've seen some tweets that compare modern depictions of men and Victorian depictions. Yes! I want to see one if you have one on hand. Ooh, this room is slanted.
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm.
Exactly right, Kat. I will say, thankfully, my weird little middle of town nowhere when I had to live in America for like a year, I will admit, everyone was really weirded out because they were like, oh, what electives are you taking? And I was like, well, I'm from an island. We don't have electives. You have something called woodshop. I want woodshop. And they're like, you're the only girl. And I'm like, woodshop.
A mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man of war. This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
Tony, is this like your dream? Kaijus as far as the eye can see. Oh my god. And you know what's great about that woodshop class that I did? You know what the first thing we built was a little stick house. And you know what the second thing was? A bread box. And then a bird house. Look, Tony, look at all the giant creatures. All the giant-sized creatures coming for New York City. There's so many. Do any of you have secrets? No? Alright. I mean, they're giant mythos Cthulhu, but...
The end is near.
What's squishing?
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
Gross. Hold on, I'm looking for secrets. Right? Like, why does it matter?
It shall not find me.
Hi.
God, that hand! The window! The window!
Thanks for playing! Oh, nice. So yeah, technically all of those creatures that were swimming towards New York, I guess, would technically be kaiju, since they're like, you know, fish things, but huge. Thank you for playing. We hope you enjoyed immersing yourself in our little pool of cosmic horror. We'd appreciate if you took a moment to rate Dagon, check out our other games and DLCs. Leave feedback. I am curious about the DLCs. Like, what's this one? The Eldritch box. What did that open? Wait, do I have it? Do I have the... I think I have the Eldritch box DLC because it's literally opening a file. The little glass I don't have. Oh, and it gets released in 20 hours. Oh, I didn't know. I wonder if it's also free or if you have to pay for it. Oh, it looks pretty. Well, I guess there's going to be a part 2 for Dagon then. I liked it. I like that. That was a good game. Now if I exit, are you going to completely exit or main menu exit? Okay, main menu exit. Thank you. The art is pretty. I like it. Considered But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I understand his fear because I'm terrified of coral. Because I grew up on an island. And
I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared.
Thank you, random sound. Perfect. But yeah, I grew up on an island. So people are like, oh, why are you afraid of coral? It's like, because I know what's in there. I know what's in there. It's come out and bitten me. I know what's in there. Cool. Let's see what time. It's almost 2. Ooh, I gotta start getting ready for filming tonight. Well, lovely people. Protects chat from kaijus. Thank you for hanging out. I'm sorry, but I'm totally abandoning the first 2 games because he goes through the wall, and I think that's a bit of a cheater move, but I like the Dagon, and we'll see what happens when the DLC comes out, and maybe we'll do a part 2. So, I will hopefully see y'all tomorrow if I'm not too absolutely tired from filming tonight. Zeus Mousy. Bye-bye.